Hey, I'm Nick, and today I want to talk more about shyness and feeling anxious socially and how it's actually exponential. You see, I've talked before how being an introvert isn't really a thing and it's more ingrained into your head to be anxious about social situations, and it's experience that matters in order to improve this. I've mentioned it before, but basically, when you are told that you're an introvert or when you've told of people who experience feeling like an introvert, you're naturally inclined to reference your past experiences to being because of the fact that you're an introvert. And when you ingrain that into your head, you naturally make yourself more anxious about social situations. However, being socially anxious is still a real thing and is something I want to more pinpoint in this video and how to tackle it and improve yourself socially so that you're not stuck feeling too anxious to be able to speak. So feeling anxious and all of these emotions isn't based on whether you're an introvert or an extrovert. It's based off your past experience and, more importantly, how your brain reacts to those past experiences. If your brain gets a hit of satisfaction after doing something, then it's more inclined to want to do it. And if it doesn't, and if it feels embarrassed or ashamed, then it's not going to want to do it again. And that is used for social situations and talking to people. If your brain doesn't enjoy the experience, then it won't want to repeat it with someone else. However, if it does, then that's what matters and that's what really starts improving yourself. But with most things, it isn't really linear. You can't just have one good experience and then have one bad experience and then it cancel out and you still being neutral to having a social experience. If your last talk with someone ended out badly, then not only are you less inclined to start a new conversation with someone, but also the fact that you're worried that it's going to turn out bad again means that the length and time you take to actually have another conversation with someone increases. And therefore, it makes it a lot harder to start a new conversation after you've just experienced a bad one. However, this is also a good thing as if we are able to get more experiences and start actually making good connections with people, then our last memory would be that this is a good thing to do, and therefore our brain is more inclined to want to do it again. And that is, of course, the byproduct of getting experiences. But what we want to focus today is recognizing that the longer we leave this shyness to fester, the harder it's going to get to actually be ourselves and be social again. But also notice how I mentioned experiences and that I haven't recommended any books or courses, because the fact is that when you're wanting to learn something, like I mentioned before, experience is what really matters. If we want to get more experience with not being shy and get that positive reinforcement that talking to people is actually a good thing, we're going to want to actually get experiences and get outside of the house and take part in social events. But of course, what I mentioned before with introverts and extroverts, our actual self-image is one of our most limiting beliefs. If we truly do believe that we are an introvert and incapable of working properly in social events, then what's naturally going to happen the next time a social event happens, or if we're talking to someone, is we're going to trick ourselves into thinking, I should be feeling anxious right now. And once our brain really believes that, then it's going to release the hormones and chemicals anyway. And so one of the most important steps is actually recognizing that this introvert extrovert stuff is pretty wishy-washy. What we really want to pinpoint is that our experiences are going to dictate how we feel. Therefore, we need to understand that we need to take a step away and actually figure ourselves out so that the next time we're out in a social setting, we make sure that we try and get some good experiences, because that's what's really going to matter. The longer we put it away, the exponentially worse our shyness is going to get, and the harder it's going to be to break that first barrier, and then we can finally start being ourselves and making connections that are good for us. But if you're still interested in learning more, especially about productivity, I've now started one-on-one coaching which you can call for using the first link in the description below. But until then, I'll see you later.